Hey guys, this is Austin, and this is one of the coolest gaming laptops I've ever seen. So this might not look like anything all that special, right? It's just like a fairly chunky, big gaming laptop. But if I flip it over, this one's just a little bit different. And by little, I mean a lot different. This is the ROG Mothership. Now, if you saw a video we did last year on the ROG G703, you know that was hands down the most ridiculous overkill gaming laptop we've ever taken a look at. We'll take a lot of what I said about that and put it into this form factor, and we've got some fun stuff. So this is a bit thinner than the G703, but what's interesting about it is that they've really rearranged all of the components. So if I flip it around, what you'll see is that all of the main stuff like the CPU and the GPU, they're all around back. So as opposed to a normal laptop where you pretty much have the keyboard that's blocking it, instead we have full airflow here as well as on the top. And this has some serious specs. We're talking like a Core i9 and RTX 2080. I mean, this has got a lot of stuff and is able to keep cool with a slightly unusual design. There's even RGB underneath the kickstand so that everyone can see just how cool you are. Now I get that this is not a standard laptop form factor, but honestly, that's kind of okay, right? I mean, you're talking about a very high-end gaming laptop, which is a little bit more portable, but it definitely does not stop there. So if you want, you can use the keyboard and touchpad like a standard laptop, or you can actually detach the entire panel and then it will flip over to wireless mode. So what's cool about this is that you still have your keyboard, you still have your touchpad, and of course if you want to, you can just put this away and use another set of peripherals, or you can even use this wire because it does have a USB-C port to charge as well as to use it wirelessly, or wired. This is a really good example of why this design actually makes some sense, right? I mean, of course, you could do a standard laptop and have all the components on the bottom, but because of this, I mean, it's kind of like the most overkill 2-in-1 ever. This is a big laptop. It has a 17.3-inch panel that is a full 144 Hz with a 3 millisecond response time, and on top of that, what's kind of cool about the keyboard design is that we actually have a ton of room for the speakers. So I start cranking this up. I mean, it's loud. It's super loud. So it has four 4-watt speakers that are all blasting directly at you, and it even does have RGB, because of course it does. Of course it does. Surprising exactly no one, this thing has ridiculous specs. So it has an overclocked Core i9 processor, 64 gigs of RAM, 3 1TB SSDs in RAID, because obviously that's important, and we of course do have that brand new RTX 2080 GPU. Now this is as good as it gets for laptop GPUs right now, but unfortunately I'm not at liberty to show you gaming on this particular system. So you just have to take my word that it can definitely play Fortnite. And like Crisis, I guess, or whatever the kids play. Can we just all just pause for 1 second? This thing is ridiculous. Like straight up, I've seen a lot of 2-in-1 designs, and usually it's much more on the ultra portable side, which is great, right? I mean, it's nice to have something that's super thin, super light, but this is so like, it's cool, right? I mean, look at this. So we have the kickstand. You also have all the ports. I haven't even gone over that yet. So we have not only 2.5 gigabit Ethernet, we also have Wi-Fi 6, you've got Thunderbolt, you've got USB-A, you've got HDMI. I mean, this thing is loaded with cool specs, but I really appreciate that that's all loaded into a chassis, which is legitimately different, right? I mean, of course, I want to actually get my hands on and spend some proper time to see how well it thermal throttles or anything like that, but you can look at just how much space you've got. We were able to do a little bit of a once over on some of the components that are on the outside to see kind of like the CNC aluminum and the heat sinks and stuff, but I just really appreciate that this is a gaming laptop, which is obviously very powerful, but it's actually really cool. You might be familiar with the ROG Zephyrus S, which came out a few months ago. And while this is a super cool 15-inch design, they now have an updated 17-inch version. So with it closed, it's incredibly thin at only 18.7 millimeters, but with the active aerodynamic system, which is a very Asus name, we do get a little bit of extra cooling thanks to the bottom panel opening up. Now this is similar to the last generation model, however it has even more power inside, with a full RTX 2080 Max-Q inside. Like the other Zephyrus models, it is a fairly understated design, and that's something I appreciate in a gaming laptop. Now sure, you've got all the RGB you want. You've got per key RGB lighting on the keyboard, you've got the logo, the underglow, but if you want, you can turn all that stuff off, and you get yourself what's actually a fairly subdued laptop, especially considering that it does have that full 17-inch screen. As a laptop with the Core i7 and an RTX 2080 inside, it does come with a fairly beefy power brick. What's cool is it does also support USB-C charging. Now mind you, you won't be able to use a brick like this for say gaming, but if you want to get a little bit of juice on the go, if you're not doing anything all that intensive, this does work. What's interesting about the Zephyrus is that it does come with an external webcam. As opposed to cramming a very small camera in the bezel, instead this is something that is a full 1080p 60 FPS, which you can not only mount to the laptop itself, or if you wanted to, you can use the included stand and put it off to the side. Now, RG was telling me a little bit about the idea that obviously a lot of people are buying this for something like, say, Twitch streaming or whatever. So the idea that you have a better webcam that you could place off to the side and it still comes with the laptop is a nice touch. Although, I don't know, nose cams are cool, right? The 17-inch version of the Zephyrus will be going on sale later this month, and the refreshed 15 will go on sale just a little bit after that. And I don't have a price for you. As you might imagine, RTX is not going to be particularly cheap. Anyway, hopefully you guys enjoyed. Definitely be sure to stay tuned to the channel for lots more other CES 2019 coverage. I almost said 2018. 2019.